Hi there, and thank you so much for being here today and joining in because I know as a parent of a child with autism that you need solutions and you need some clarity about how to recover your child from the symptoms of autism. And if that is new information for you, then I'm even more glad you're here. I know there are a lot of naysayers out there who say it can't be done. Whether you are brand new to this journey or you have been on it for years, I can give you strategies and solutions that can actually get you results and help you on this journey. And we want a child who is able to be happier and healthier and live a more fulfilling life. When my own son was diagnosed, I was told to drug him and try behavioral therapies, and there was nothing else that we could do. And I know those struggles. I know what you're living in. I know the confusion. And you're hunting and pecking around the internet and you're reading books and doing all of this personal research because you're probably jumping from practitioner to practitioner, therapy to therapy, and trying to figure out what is going to work for your child and how you can actually get results. And I know that people say that autism recovery isn't possible, but it took me a decade. And today, my son no longer has his symptoms of autism. Now, some children will keep their diagnosis of autism, and that's absolutely fine. But what we want is the ability to get them to be their best self, to be, again, happier and healthier and live the fulfilling life that they absolutely deserve, just like anybody else does. And I know how much you care about your child, and that's why you're taking the time to be here today. So, I'm going to run through the four stages that I created basically from, or the walkthrough that I created to give you, because what I wanted to do when I found out that my son could get so much better, I wanted to share it with other parents and make sure that they had a step-by-step resource so that they could follow, so that you were done with all of that confusion or the wasted time and expense on things that don't work and trying to figure out what does. I remember that personally, going through trial and error, buying supplements here and supplements there, and these one off supplements don't work. Then you hear about diet. There's gluten free and there's casein free. And you want to be able to get your child to eat better. And there's picky eating. How do I transition them to the diet? Well, what I found was there's a lot more to this. That's the reason that some are able to recover their children from their symptoms of autism and help them to live that happier, healthy, and more fulfilling life. But then others are still struggling. And I'm going to share with you today why. And one of the biggest things I see is that diet alone is not enough, and most people think it is. Even if you're on a gluten-free casein diet, that's fantastic, but there's more to diet alone than that, because there's candida in the gut that's boring holes into the lining of their gut, and we need to starve that out. So that means sugars and processed carbohydrates. And there are so many chemicals in our foods today too that our kids can't take. So diet, and then also adding in some good binders, something that can help, toxin binders that will sop up the toxins, right? Because if you don't have binders in place, what happens is the kids will become really sometimes overactive. There's called die-off symptoms. They can get much worse before they get better. It's scary for you, it's scary for them. And you've not been given any knowledge about this probably prior to maybe hearing this today. You're thinking, well, I tried the diet or I tried some supplements and my child got so much worse. Die off is really important to know about and to know how to reduce it along the way. Because as those toxins start reducing and being eliminated from the body, your child's body is already backed up with so many extras, it can't take anymore. So that's where these heightened behaviors get so much worse. Then we move into things like heavy metal detoxification. And what you're going to get at the doctor's office is something called DMSA. It's a pharmaceutical drug. It allows for those toxins, those heavy metals that are disrupting the brain and creating havoc in behaviors and are quite dangerous, quite frankly, to the body. Those are actually causing more problems as you're trying to eliminate it with these prescription drugs, because they allow for reabsorption in back into the body. And so you don't want to be able to let those things reabsorb back into the bloodstream and then spread throughout the body. Then you've got more problems. You want to do it safely and naturally. And that's what I can share with you as well. They also need to be something that's simple to give, a powder form or a liquid form, or if after my 10 years now, 17 years, actually, my son was diagnosed 17 years ago this month. In my 17 years of autism specific research, I've weeded out 95% of the bad supplements that don't work or are poor quality and brought in to you just the 5% that do. I also want you to know about the co-infections that are so, so important. They are absolutely crucial to your child's success. And these are things like mold biotoxins, Lyme disease, mimics the symptoms of autism, and close to 100% of children with autism have these symptoms and have Lyme. It's very, very much not detected in tests for it. The tests are very inaccurate. So you can and when your child is actually positive, they actually have Lyme. So if you're using, again, something safe and natural that only supports the system, then you know that you're combating things and helping the immune system be supported without putting in dangerous drugs that aren't working. Then you also need to know about PANS, which is a pandas or strep. It's a something where you see really heightened OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, heightened anxiety, clinginess and fearfulness. And then from that, you also want to know that what is happening is that the immune system is attacking the brain. Well, you've got to stop that pretty quickly, right? Obviously, you do. And so, in my membership program for these co infections, we use proprietary organic herbal formulas that were formulated specifically for these to target them. No antibiotics or dangerous drugs that aren't going to work or wasted time and expense on trying to figure out what does or what will. Then after all of that is out of the way, then brain support and repair, because otherwise you're wasting money on a lot of therapies and things that really aren't working for your child, or they're trying so hard to make them work, but their brain is so toxic and inflamed that they're not working properly, and you're just not getting enough bang for your buck. And what is worse, and what was worse for me, is that I saw my son struggling. He also really wanted to get better. He wanted to help himself, and he said, he was in these therapies that weren't working, and we were just trying to help him. And he finally said, "Mom, I want to, but I can't. Why can't I?" And it was heartbreaking for me as a parent to see him struggling so much and not being able to get the results when he is brilliant. He is so, so smart. And I know that you know that your child is smart also. So again, after I implemented diet strategies and found out the right diet that works, knew about binders, was able to implement those to reduce any symptoms of die off on his recovery process. I implemented a safe and natural heavy metal detoxification that is a spray that literally tastes like water, so it's easy to give to your kids. Then using clearing the co-infections, because those really disrupt the brain and its ability to function, causing rageful behaviors, causing an inability to think clearly, causing so many disruptions in their health, their overall health. I mean, the list just goes on, affecting speech and sleep. I mean, all of the things that you know that your child could improve if you knew what to do. And so, what I'm offering you is I have my Naturally Recovering Autism membership that I created to share these exact steps that I took with my son and got so many successful results that I wanted to share it with you, with other parents who I knew were struggling on this path, didn't know what to do, and were wasting a lot of their time and expense on things that weren't working and weren't getting the results you're looking for. And I have now, when I first created the program, it's a step-by-step membership program that's A to Z, covering all 4 stages. Plus, I have 30 years of background as a craniosacral therapist. So I studied the brain. I have a lot of holistic health experience with a lot of other things. I know how important mindset is, because these struggles can cause a lot of stress for you. And I want to be able to support you on this path where you can literally ask me questions inside our members private member site. The forum in there allows you to ask me questions whenever you need to. So you have access 24/7 to that as you do to the program online. So that private membership site gives you the steps A to Z in a sequential order to follow. And in what I found is that so there's no more of that confusion. And when I found out how successful things could be for my son, I thought, could this really help people? And I was asked other people, will it work for others? And I was asked by other parents too, please create a program where you'll just guide me through it because I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know what to do. And so I created, again, the Naturally Recovering Autism membership program. The link at the bottom of this video, naturallyrecoveringautism.com/membership, can give you all of the things that the program offers you and the link to join, which is only enrollment is only open for a very, very short time left. So please make sure you get in before the enrollment date. Go check out the membership, but also learn that there are others it has helped. And on that page, I have several members who have shared either in text or in video their results and what has happened for their child and their own families from the success that they have had being in the Naturally Recovering Autism membership program. So that's what I want you to see is, yes, it wasn't a fluke that my son got better. He didn't just grow out of it. It was because we got these toxins, these pathogens, and this inflammation off of his brain so he could function and be himself again. He's now happy and healthy. He's living away at college, or actually graduated college. He is living away on his own with friends. He's absolutely living a happy, healthy, and fulfilling life very independently. And I know that we don't always know how long our child will be around, or we will be around for our child. So we want to get them to their absolute best results so that they have a brighter future. They can take care of themselves, hopefully, or they can be calm and happy. So that is so important to know. And so that's why, again, I've created this for you. I have parents who one woman, and she shares on that page, on the membership page there, the link here. You can hear from her herself. Her name is Karen. Also, her son was 27 years old when she came into the member site and into the membership, and she had tried for decades to try and get him better. Her son, and he was nonverbal when she came into the program, and she said, I just wasn't willing to give up on anything. And that is the key, is being committed and just, keep going. And I want to give you the right steps to do that. Well, Karen's son, within 2 months in the program, he started talking for the first time. He's 27 years old, and she had tried lots of things before that didn't get results. She got him talking. Now he's reading books with her and finishing the book before her. I have other parents who were told by professionals and experts that their child would never speak. And today, from being in the Naturally Recovering Autism membership, and again, they had tried other things that didn't work, but from this membership program, their child, one of them says, is speaking endlessly. I have helped others to get their children to where the diagnosis has actually been removed by professionals, kids that were severe. Other kids, again, are going to keep their diagnosis, and that's fine. But what I want for you is to be able to get the absolute best results that are possible. And that comes from having the right strategies and an A to Z plan. That is what makes this program absolutely unique and like none other out there. And it's done online on your timeline. There's no hurrying up. There's no keeping up, because every child is absolutely unique in their ability to move forward and at the pace that their body detoxifies. Some parents need to go really, really slowly forward. Everybody, I suggest and encourage to go slowly forward so that you can really reduce those symptoms of die off, because they will happen, but we want to keep them at a minimum. then you can move forward much more easily. And this can be a lot more stress-free for you. And that is what we want, is make sure that that can happen for you. So again, parents that have been told by naysayers or experts that their child, wouldn't get better, including myself. I was told to drug my son and we should try behavioral therapies, and well, good luck. Maybe try some therapies and see how it goes. That was about it. Then I was jumping around to practitioner, like I know that you likely are, and reading books and hunting through and pecking through the internet, searching for answers. And you're all over the place. It's confusing. You don't know what to do. Somebody says to do this, they don't have all the answers. They're giving you a handful of supplements, and then your child can maybe get much worse because they're not telling you anything about die-off or how to deal with die-off when it happens. And that is really important for you to make sure that you understand what to do when certain things come up. And I've got that clearly laid out for you in the Naturally Recovering Autism membership program, A to Z. And if you don't find the answer that you're looking for already from the clearly laid out guide, again, there's a forum inside where you ask me your questions 24/7. You can ask me a question. I will get back to you within 24 hours with an answer for your child's specific needs and your specific questions for what you need support with and how to work through. Sometimes we need to troubleshoot through certain things, and that is what the forum is there for. And this program's been going strong for about 7 years now. So there have been, over the years, especially in the beginning, there might have been certain questions I saw came up over and over and over, maybe about constipation or about speech. And so I thought, okay, I need to make a separate PDF for this in particular. So there's that, even though it gets covered in the program, because you really need to also remember that it is never just one thing causing your child's issues, whatever they are: sleep, speech, inability to focus, tantrums, rageful behavior, all of these things. It's not just one thing, it is a multitude of them. And unless you work with all four stages, you won't know what your best results can be. And again, we do it safely and naturally at your pace, because I know that you're thinking, oh my gosh, one more thing. I don't want this to be one more thing for you. What I want to do is save you time, not think, oh, how am I going to do this? I don't have much time. The point of this program is to save you that time. You've now got a clear roadmap, and you're going to be able to move forward with more clarity, with the strategies you need, and with more confidence. So this is why I'm here to support you. I literally built this membership program for you, to help you with your child, to get you out of that wasted time and expense and the confusion and the sleepless nights and the hunting and pecking through the internet to figure it out. I have done the work for you. I have figured it out, and I am offering it to you and inviting you right now to join the membership while enrollment is open. Please, please don't let this opportunity pass you up. It is worth it. And again, go to naturallyrecoveringautism.com/membership. And on that page, it will give you all of the details of what the membership program provides for you. And you get a chance to hear from other members who have had significant results, life-changing, positive results. This is a new year. Take the opportunity to make this your best year ever. Make changes that you've been looking for actually happen. This is what I want to offer you. Um, there's a couple of questions coming in. Where do you purchase a detox supplement? How do you figure out if my son's intoxicated if he's not showing any constipation problems? No stomach issues at all. Sometimes your child won't have stomach issues. That's not everybody. As we know, autism is a spectrum disorder. There are no two kids that are exactly the same. So it's really important that you know that I know that. And what we do is we cover all of the pieces, because one child might have speech and they're okay with speech, and another child might be completely nonverbal. And, it's not just, oh, just do only this, and then that will change that. It's, again, a whole multitude of all of these toxins, co-infections, the pathogens, these bacteria, parasites, Lyme, mold biotoxins. There's so much involved here. that it's not just one thing. What I have done is simplified this process for you. I give you links to the exact well-researched supplements that are easy to give to kids in either powder or liquid form. And if the product that I found that was the absolute best for our sensitive kids with autism had and for that specific need for whatever it is that we're using it for, if it only came in a capsule form, then you could open the capsule up and mix it into food or beverage in any way to help your child get it in. But most are in a liquid form that has little or no taste. Again, can be mixed in with things too to get them to take it if that's an issue. And they can also can so there's sprays, liquid powder. Anyway, making it as easy as possible. I give you direct links again in a sequential order. There's even something that's called a quick guide that I created. So as you're a new member, once you register, it's a very short form there on that membership page is the link to join. You have the option of an annual plan or a monthly plan to pay. So you have what works for you financially. Then once you join, then there is a quick email that you'll get usually within 5 minutes. You'll have an email in your inbox after you register for the membership. And that email is going to give you your first steps. So you don't have to worry about confusion. It'll give you your login details to our private protected membership site. You can log in. It'll tell you start here and go to the introduction page and about the quick guide that I just mentioned. Now, that quick guide is a way to just get you started with your first few steps. And that again can take some time, but you're doing it on your timeline, how it works for you. I give you direct links to direct products. And many of these companies I've talked to over the years, and I've asked if they would offer a discount code of some type for my members, if they could make that available to help out. And many of them have. So there are discount codes right next to the product link to purchase. So you can purchase it online and have it sent right to your home. I have parents in over 40 countries now in this program. So we've worked out various shipping, because I know that comes up, various shipping pieces, other things to get to the products to you, the companies that work the best, but it needs to be the specific product that I have in the site because it's the best of the best. There, as you know, like hundreds, if not thousands of, like, say, as an example, a probiotic formulas out there. We don't want to just kind of willy-nilly just pick out random ones because the strains can be wrong or there can be too many, where billions and having more is not necessarily better. In fact, it can make your child worse. Autism runs right along the lines of an autoimmune illness. So we don't want to overactivate the immune system. We want to make sure that we keep it modulated or regulated. So if it's underactive, we bring it up to balance. If it's overactive, we bring it down to balance. But it's about balance safely and naturally. So you're going to get the direct links to the direct products that you need, and you purchase them only as you need them. This is to help save you any unnecessary expense and to spread out any expense over time, but it's also to weed out the overwhelm. I want to keep it simple for you. I want you to be able to just get what you need when you get it and when you need it and know how to use it. That's another thing. I wish this could be a 5-minute conversation, or I could say, well, just get this supplement or that supplement. But if I throw out one-off supplements to you and you don't know how to use them or when to use them, it's not really that much help for you. It can lead to even more confusion. So that's where in the membership site, you will have all of the guidance you need on everything and in that sequential order. And I teach you things like muscle testing, a way to know if a product is accepted right now by your child's body, or if what the dosage should be, or as you're learning it, or if you don't know it yet, that's fine. It takes time. Then you go by symptoms and you back off as soon as symptoms increase, because you don't want to throw your child into a big die-off reaction where they're having really increased behaviors and much worse than they were before. We want to reduce that possibility as much as possible. So our kids are very sensitive. We'll start out many times with as little as 1 drop a day of something that maybe their directions on the bottle might have been like, a half a dropper full. Well, you can just send your child into a tailspin sometimes if you give them that much right away. And I had one mom in the program, and she said, "I came back from the doctor's office once, and he gave me 13 supplements to start in one day." And she said, "So I followed his guidance, and, he's a doctor, so I went ahead and did it." She just said it was like her child was having an exorcism. She said it was he was so he just became so crazy, his behaviors were so wild and erratic, and it's because it was too much too fast, and you don't wanna do that. You've gotta spread it out over time for the best results, the safest results, and, again, for making it, the easiest way for you and your child to move through it. Um, uh So if you need to go over with what the membership offers you, as I'm seeing Anito asking here, then please go to naturallyrecoveringautism.com/membership. It will give you the details of all of the modules in the program, everything you could want on diet. There's a lot more to know about diet. It's not just I give you the foods you can have, a whole list of them, as well as the foods to avoid, an example grocery list, cookbooks and recipes to help you as well, so that you know how to cook even without using bad processed carbohydrates and gluten and sugars. There are good things and healthy things that you can make. So, and how to transition that picky eater. There's a whole bunch of information that's really helpful for you on diet to clarify that process. Then there's also the antihistamine diet. Histamines are a very big issue for our kids, and they create a lot of anxiety. So if you're noticing that, and they can be in foods and they can be in environmental factors in our home and in around our home. So also, as an added bonus, if you haven't heard yet, right now, if you join the membership, there is the bonus of the environmental toxins resource guide that I created for you. And when you join, you'll find it right at the top of the resources page. And it's also in a PDF at the bottom of the detoxification page. Now, I have over 30 years in holistic health, working as a back office assistant for an applied kinesiology chiropractor, uh, almost 30 years as a craniosacral therapist studying the brain, multitudes of courses and seminars and things I've taken over the years, even before my son was diagnosed with autism. So I bring a lot to the table for you. On the detoxification page is also information to teach you a little bit of a very gentle liver massage or lymphatic massage, how to calm for sensory overload, stress reduction techniques. There is so many things that are really helpful for you there. You learn, you're educated, but also the videos that I created for each page are purposely short. The longest one, I think, is 7 minutes long. Most of them are about 3 minutes. I give you enough information between audio, video, and text, because I know everybody learns differently as well, that you understand and are educated, because I'm all about educating you. You are educated on what you're doing and why, and what this product can do for your child and how to give it, and then the link to purchase it. So you're walking through the diet, you've got all of this help for detoxification, you're learning muscle testing, you're learning all of the things about natural, safe, heavy metal detoxification. And then a huge part is also the proprietary organic herbal formulas for each of the co-infections that I mentioned: the mold biotoxins, Lyme disease, parasites, PANS or PANDAS, which is again an acronym, but it means that the immune system is attacking the brain. And that's where you see these wild erotic behaviors of obsessive compulsive disorder and fearfulness and clinginess. There's natural allergy elimination. Yes, your child can be desensitized naturally and safely from these, what I call, and they are called acquired allergies. Over time, with this leaky gut, which means a lot of the time their gut actually has holes. So the undigested food is leaking into their bloodstream. Well, when that happens, not only do they get wild behaviors from it, but then the immune system sees that food as a toxic agent and it puts out new markers. They're called antibodies to fight that food when they see it again. So now all of a sudden your child has all of these allergies they didn't used to have, and they get wild when they eat, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I can hardly feed them anything. They're also craving gluten and casein, the proteins in dairy and wheat, because they contain opiates and build opiates in the body. So that's why your child seems somewhat addicted to them, as well as the sugars and that the processed carbohydrates and everything feed that those candida in their gut. And if you don't heal the gut up, the gut controls the brain and 80% of the immune system. So understand the knowledge that you will gain by being in the program, why you're doing things, and what to do for each. So these are all steps, and I give you symptom guides, and everything that you need is A to Z. Again, that's what makes this program so unique. And I am inviting you to join it right now. If beyond the membership page that everything that's listed there, you feel like you still have some questions, you can write us at support@naturallyrecoveringautism.com and we will answer your questions, because I don't want you left hanging on the fence trying to figure out if this is right for you or if you should join or not because you don't know, and then enrollment closes and you wish you had. So let us help answer your questions. Again, if you need support at naturallyrecoveringautism.com, and there can be additional questions answered there. But here again at naturallyrecoveringautism.com/membership, the link that's right here with this video that you're watching right now, that will offer you a whole page of a breakdown of everything that the program gives you and how it works, and then the link to join. So again, quick registration, and within 5 minutes, you'll have an email with your first steps and how to get started. It's as simplified as I could possibly make this process, and I am here to help you along the way. Yes, you will get your questions answered inside the membership by me. In the forum is where I answer all questions, because then all members will be able to read and learn from the answers that I give, because most people you'll find have the same questions. You're not in this alone. There are millions, literally millions of other parents worldwide that are working with a child with autism. And this is again why I created this program. Every year the statistics go up. There are now 1 in 30, the diagnosis of 1 in 30 children are diagnosed with autism. And the number is staggering, and it increases every year. And I want to help put a stop to this, because autism is not a mental illness. It is a biological one. And that is why your child's symptoms can be reduced and even eliminated. So you need to know exactly the right steps, all of them from A to Z, and how to do this the best to get the best results, so that you know what the best results for your child can be, and you're not stopped short of those best results, and your child doesn't get to go as far as they could have been. On that membership page there, the link where you would join, also please read and listen to the text and the video success stories that members have shared from their own hearts, saying, I want to help other people too, Karen. I'm happy to tell other people what this experience has done for me, because I want others to know that this program works. So please, and we just had Nanti she's wonderful. And a member share very recently a bit longer piece even that we put right at the top of the membership page, because she is just so excited to be able to share her inspirational story of her son's just complete transformation. She used to be afraid to leave him at home for 5 minutes. Didn't know if he ever could be home while she was going to pick her daughter up from school. Her son, he's 13 now. He didn't used to be able to the bus dropped him off in front of their house, but he had so much anxiety, would run from other people, was couldn't be home alone at all. Now he's completely happy, has friends, he's able to get home by himself and let himself in, and then she's home in a few minutes and he's totally fine. And so this is again that independence. And she shares how there was that day where she's like, you and I, who have that concern of, how will my child be able to be independent someday? I worried about my son when he was little and young and still having all of his symptoms. Like, what will his life be in the future? What will it be like? So, I know that you're wondering, how will your child's life be in the future? What if you don't find the answers? What if, there's always the what if, the fear, because it is scary. You want the best for them and you want to know they're going to be okay if and when something, we don't live forever. We need to know that they're going to be able to care for themselves or be cared for, but they're healthiest and happiest that they can absolutely be. And so please share it, read and listen to those inspirational stories, because um, they really are heartwarming to hear. Uh, uh, Janelle, do I help with Lyme and mold? Absolutely, yes. Those are two of the huge, huge pieces of autism recovery. And if they are not worked with properly, and again, at the most tests will come out negative for them. They're very hard to detect. So I don't have you waste your time or your money trying to take tests. I'd rather have you spend your money on the right supplements that actually work to help the problems. They're safe and natural that we use, so you don't have to worry about them doing any harm. And they're broad spectrum, so they help multiple systems of the body as well. So there's a benefit to the immune system and the whole body as well by using them. We use the organic proprietary herbal formulas for the co-infections. Again, Lyme, mold, panda strep, parasites, mycoplasma, which is a big respiratory issue. There are a lot of things that we do for that, but absolutely. And I am preparing you to prepare your child's body for the detoxification process. So that's why you'll see on that quick guide to getting started right away in the beginning of the program. We start out with a couple of toxin binders. We get into the right mineral sources and formulas that will help support your child's detoxification pathways, because we want to prep those detox pathways, because right now they're not working very well in your child, and their liver is congested, and the liver is the organ of detoxification. So those have to be worked with. All of these things so that you can support detoxification first, get your child a little more stabilized, right? Then we move into each thing, and things build upon the next. So you don't come in module one and go, oh, well, I'm going to get this first binder, but then I'm going to try this other thing way down the line. And if you come into the program and your child is in, and you'll know it if you have a PANS flare up, or known Lyme, I have specific PDF guides for you for that. Also, if you're a parent who's been on the journey for a long time and your child's already on supplements, what do I do with that? There's right away at the bottom even of the introduction page and the supplement page, there is a guide for what to do if you're already on other supplements, so that you know what to do then. There's a frequently asked question area. And then the forum is fantastic. We have archived all of the questions and answers that have been asked in the past, so, because there's so much valuable information in there. All of the questions and answers from everything you can imagine being asked, from diet to co-infections and herbals and detoxification and anything you can think of, really. So if you type in the search bar a keyword, you'll have things pop up, and you'll see answers to things that almost always somebody else has already asked. And if not, and you have a specific question or a need about your child, then you just write me right there in the forum, and I'll get back to you within 24 hours and answer your question. Um, okay, let me see. I want to make sure. Um, No, you don't have to refrigerate the Pure Body zeolites. They don't need preservatives, but they also don't go bad left out. They're not like that. They're not something that has something in that way. Um, your child hardly drinks water. What can be the underlying issue? So some kids have sensory issues that don't allow them that maybe are make the mouth feel uncomfortable when they're eating food. A little bit of CBD oil ahead of time can be helpful to help calm the sensory issues in their mouth. Massaging the neck right here downward can help drain the lymphatics and calm the sensory issues in their mouth. So there are tips and tricks that I have to help you with some of these. Picky eating and the transition is very common. So don't stress out that you won't be able to do it. It can take some time, but it happens for almost everybody over time. If you're consistent and there's a way to do it, and you don't have to worry about it happening overnight or even the first month. It will be a transitional process, but I will help you do it. You have guidelines to that. Um, let's see here. Yeah, and water is important too. The other thing too is having a very high quality water filter is very important. I've done interviews with water experts. I link to a couple of very high quality water filters in the member site for you. There's a whole page on home health protection, electromagnetic field pollution, how to protect yourself from that. It is a very big problem for our bodies today and for our children's bodies. And there's a safe and natural way to protect you from that as well. Um, let's see here. Um, okay, yeah. And so you can definitely talk to support if you need to. How to figure out if your son is intoxicated, not showing any constipation. Okay, I think we answered that. I think I'm going backwards. I was going backwards. Now, okay. Does my program last 4 years membership? It's an annual membership, and year to year, many people stay in for multiple years because they need to. But then that's basically your choice, how far you want to take your child, how they're doing, what your needs are. We usually say autism recovery is about a 4-year process, but every child varies. Nanti is sharing right here on the membership link page at the top. That video is a little longer because she was so excited and she wanted to share. Take the time to listen to it. I think that one's almost 20 minutes, where the others are maybe about 3 minutes. But she talks about she's been in the program for 2 years, and when she started 2 years ago, again, her son has had a complete transformation. So again, consistency and time. It does take time. It's not an overnight fix, and it shouldn't be, because we do it safely and naturally, and we're not just trying to mask symptoms here. We are trying to work with the biology so that the body can have what it needs to heal itself. But first, we've got to get all of those toxins and pathogens and co-infections and all of these things out of the way that are creating inflammation in multiple systems of their body, including their brain. Like mold and Lyme. I mean, they mold makes it so you can't even think clearly. It's huge for depression, sleep issues. Maybe if your child has night bedwetting, and they're even 5 or 10 years old and they're still bedwetting, that's a common symptom of mold. So there's certain things that you think, well, why are they doing that? So it's everything again is not just one thing. It's a multitude of them. But there are common things, and I give you symptom guides inside so you can have an idea, but you don't have to worry about it necessarily. I just like to educate you. But we do everything from A to Z. So and in that sequential order I mentioned, so that we can prepare the body slowly, again, on your timeline or your child's timeline. There's no hurrying up, there's no keeping up. And it's why it's an annual program, because I release the whole membership site and everything to you right away. And that's not to overwhelm you, because you're not supposed to look, you're not there to do everything all right away. It has to be done one little piece at a time. But if you've been on the journey for a long time and maybe you've got some detoxifiers going, you've got your child on a good diet, but you know they have, say, Lyme or they're in a PANS flare or something else going on like that, I want you to be able to have access to maybe, we get you on the herbals a little bit sooner than somebody else. And we want to start, doing certain things. Everybody's pace is different. And that's what I want to be clear about. So your pace is basically per what your child's needs are and how it works for you. Because again, you've got 24/7 access to the member site once you join. So you can do it on your timeline. If you just look 5 minutes a day, you go, okay, I'm going to do this today and I'm going to purchase this product first. And then you do one little thing, in myth, in a, like a, what is it? Mythology in a method, but you can just do it slowly and just keep moving forward. The key is being persistent and consistent. And I also do, again, a lot with mindset issues because this can actually, start to get to us as parents as well as things to teach your children that can help them too. Because we want to help their self-esteem, we want to encourage them, help them feel good about themselves, maybe get rid of any past residue of emotional issues that they gained when they weren't doing as well or when they had a bad experience. And there are things that you can do for yourself as well. Because I know again how taxing this can be. And I know that you don't want to live the rest of your life like that. And you're here because you want a positive change. And if you're here if you're ready for a positive change, this is what I am inviting you to do in the membership program is get those changes you need. Like I said, it's a new year, and I think it's a great time to really be able to move forward and get the results you're looking for, make the changes that you've been looking for, and not be stuck where you've been, plateauing on the journey. If you've been on it for years and not getting the results you've been looking for, not knowing what you're doing, no help when there's a big die-off reaction, no support in place, spending just loads of money on therapies and practitioners that really you're not getting maybe as much as you could have out of especially the therapies because your child's brain is so toxic and inflamed that they can't do what they're being asked, like my son once couldn't. And we finally pulled him out of those therapies. And everybody's different, but my son never needed to go back to those therapies. So in the long run, we saved thousands of dollars in money that we would have spent on therapies if I hadn't figured it out on my own and gotten that inflammation off of his brain and cleared his health because you know essentially our kids are sick and we usually have a lot of those things too: Lyme, mold, heavy metal toxins. We're all exposed to heavy metals every single day. I encourage the whole family to do the program together. I do not charge separate fees for others. I have you, mom, dad, you follow it along with your child because we pass along these infections around the household. So you don't want to only be doing it on your child, and getting them better, and then you're not doing it for yourself, and then you're just passing it back to them. So it's very important for you to take care of your own health and know that you matter. I know that we, as parents, especially parents of children with special needs, we become that caregiver, and we're used to just doing and doing and doing for them. And you've got to take care of yourself. You do matter. You do deserve it. Take the time for you, even if it means a 5-minute walk some days or going and sitting quietly, 5 minutes before you go to bed if your child's asleep and having a cup of tea or whatever it is that you can do for you that feeds your mind and gives you some peace as well. And there are many, again, tips for you to use on yourself for sensory and calming techniques on a page that is literally titled sensory processing and calming and stress reduction. The page in module 1, there's a whole separate page just for those things. So whatever you're looking at for your child, please also do it to take care of yourself. Um, uh, You hear there's connection with CBD and schizophrenia. Is this true? Uh, Andrea, I'm not exactly sure what that means. I've not heard about a connection between using CBD and schizophrenia. CBD, if you get a quality product, again, there are a lot of really junky products. I've had parents say, I've used CBD oil, and I'm talking about an oil in which you can actually rub on the back, right on the back of their neck, on the brainstem, right where the soft tissue meets the skull. You can take the liquid and put it there instead of having them ingest it, and it actually soaks in and calms down the brainstem, certain things there that contribute, like the vagus nerve. So that's a good place to do it, or ingesting it. But quality products make the difference. Some people say, "Oh, I tried CBD once and it really didn't work." Well, either the dosage was too low, or they weren't on the right dosage for it for their child, or they were using a poor quality product, because there are a lot of really poor quality products out there. So again, I link to high quality products of everything in the site. I have not heard of anything negative about schizophrenia. In fact, Dr. Judy Mikovits, she's a brilliant mind. You may have heard of her. I've interviewed her on my podcast and in my blog. We've talked, and other things that she actually did and I've spoken at the Autism One conferences as well. And Judy was a speaker there one time, and we talked afterwards. And she gave a whole lecture on CBD and the safety of it, and how it actually helps your cells and your immune system and all of these other things. So it has a lot of health benefits to it, besides just being, something, not just because we all need calming, something that calms. The key is finding, the quality product. And again, I link to a really good one for you. And the company gives us a discount code, which is helpful. Um, do I feel like I've turned off my son's bad gene? Genes are a blueprint. We're all born with a blueprint. What happens is that in order, it's called epigenetics, if you haven't heard about it. And I've interviewed Dr. Bruce Lipton, who is the world's renowned highest authority on epigenetics. And I was very fortunate to get an interview with him. If you go to naturallyrecoveringautism.com, and in the search bar, type in even just Bruce Lipton is his name, Dr. Bruce Lipton. You'll go, or epigenetics, but that might be too long to remember if you've never heard it before, that genes can be reversed. He says that in the interview. It's a fact. And how they get mutated in the first place are in largely environmental factors. There are environmental toxins. There is can be emotional trauma or physical trauma as well. These are the things that mutate genes. So something has to have mutated those genes. And we know our world is more toxic today than it used to be. It's, why so many more kids are being diagnosed with autism. And I'm teaching you how to live a healthier life, how to detoxify. Many of the supplements in the program I take daily for myself as a preventative measure. We are exposed to aluminum, mercury, all of these things on a daily basis, and they accumulate in the body and the brain. I've also interviewed Dr. Christopher Exley, Exley. You can type it in on my website and listen to that interview. He's Mr. Aluminum. He has over 25 years of specific aluminum research. And Dr. Exley talks about how he says that Alzheimer's, which is very well known to be caused by aluminum affecting the genetics of the brain and building the plaques, that Alzheimer's is 100% preventable, he says. And if it's the same with, autism is caused by a lot of these environmental toxins coming in and just bombarding the cells of the body all the way down to the genes. And so the genes get altered. It's called mutated. They mutate the genes. So, some kids are born with a mutated gene because it's very common that we have toxins. I had candida overgrowth when I was pregnant with my son. I also had mercury amalgam fillings, dental fillings back then. I don't anymore. I've had them removed safely with a biological dentist, and I've done a lot of natural and safe heavy metal detoxification. But I didn't know these things to the extent I did after my son was born and that I do know now. And so I didn't, my system had some toxins that passed into my son in utero. So he was born with some toxins that way. So this can happen as well. Both mother and father, genetically, there are more and more older fathers. And the older we are, the more toxins we tend to have in our bodies. It has a lot to do with our diet and everything else, of course, and our stress levels in our life and how our body handles all of those things. But we are just exposed to toxins daily. And so again, that bonus that is available to you right now for joining, it's an extra added bonus for you because it's so important. And I wanted to use it as hopefully an incentive too to join now and get that. It's right at the top of the resources page for you. It's the in the member site, and it's the I a whole PDF guide on the environmental toxins in and around your home and how to protect your family from them. So it's not just, oh, these are all the toxins and good luck, because there's a lot to know, but it's ways to support and protect your family, you and your family from them. And that is important information to have, which the program basically walks you through step by step with all of those too. But a lot of times somebody will say, they'll write to me and their child's all of a sudden having an up-leveled, uh, up-leveled symptoms. And they're like, okay, we troubleshooting. Any new supplements in the last since the symptoms arose, any new buildings they were exposed to, because mold can be very, very common. And, any new foods, maybe they had a reaction to a food or they have a histamine reaction to a food, which can cause a lot of hyperactivity and excitedness and anxiety. So we, walk through looking at certain causes because sometimes there are things that you wouldn't even think might be an issue, and it's totally causing your child a problem. And you don't want to be work doing all this hard work for them and still having them exposed to certain toxic agents in his or her life that you didn't know were there. So that's really, really important. Um, any tips on how to keep the diet clean as possible for those traveling out of the country in summer? Yeah, there are the traveling tips. The Picky Eating Guide has some really good resources as far as a very high quality organic green food powder, or the collagen protein that actually tastes good, that you can just mix in with water to get some extra little bit of extra protein or a little extra nutrition in them, but keeping them, of course, very well hydrated. And try to avoid the bad oils. A lot of restaurants are cooking with all of the bad oils, the vegetable oil, soy, soybean, canola. They're all bad, and they contribute to problems in the body. You want to stick with extra virgin olive oil, cold pressed and organic. You want coconut oil is also good, but also being aware of if the restaurant is using aluminum or unsafe cooking facilities, cooking pans, etc., then they're actually putting more of that into the body. You can these days. What I've been doing is I'll get somewhere and I'll type in at organic restaurants, or sometimes that can be too specific and it won't come up because some are farm to table and they don't spray their food, but they can't say that it's all organic. So if you type in farm to table restaurants near me into your phone when you're traveling, you can usually find some that are better choices to eat at. They'll have, they either have little that has pesticides in it or none. They'll have, more farm fresh types of foods, and they cook healthier and get more local resources. But farm to table seem to be good ways. Also, thinking keto. If you think about eating keto foods, those tend to be safer on our kids' diets when you're traveling as well. Because I know it can be pretty tricky. If you're eating somewhere and there's hopefully you're getting line caught fish, never farmed, right? Line caught wild fish, organic poultry, grass-fed and finished beef, and then gluten-free options. There are more and more of these available now because as more people, especially with gluten, become more gluten-free and are knowing about being being and wanting to be healthier because more people are learning how toxic our environment is and how toxic the foods are that they're eating, and they want to clean that up. So a lot of restaurants and grocery stores, if you can, are getting better at it because they have to keep up with what the market wants. More people want that now. So even mainstream grocery stores are carrying better things. You can look for, the organic. Again, gluten-free doesn't necessarily mean it's good for you. Tapioca starch and potato starch, those bad carbs, are all still processed carbohydrates that are going to feed sugars to that candida. But if you're traveling and there's no other option, it's gluten free, try to avoid the carbs or at least reduce them to an absolute minimum. That can help alone. And having healthy sources, taking snacks like, celery with almond butter, hard boiled eggs. They don't have an egg allergy. Nuts, not ever peanuts. Peanuts are legumes, they're inflammatory and they carry mold. But nuts are really good. Nuts are kind of my go to. I usually have some macadamia nuts nearby. um, they are the good fats and they give protein. So you kind of, when you eat good fat with protein together, it actually helps satiate you, keep you full longer, and it absorbs better in your body because the fats kind of slowed and the proteins kind of have longer time of absorption. So that can be helped. Um, okay. Um, you've Neville, you've healed your son's gut and have done chelation with zeolite for more than a year. He's on a clean diet, not a picky eater. He is clear of candida. He has extremely smelly flatulence, and it's even problematic at school. Can this perhaps be a parasite? That was what I was going to say. Yes, it is very likely he's got a parasite. And sometimes candida can hide in tests, and we don't always see it. So in tests, it's again the test inaccuracy. So I think there's probably some things that are lingering that also know a few other things that are really, really detrimental to the gut that are super important to know about. One is glyphosate. It's Roundup weed killer, and it is sprayed on, especially on wheat crops, right as it's before it's to be harvested to dry it up so they can get it in the mill, churn it up, and get it out on the market faster and make more money. So they are literally spraying poison on our food. And glyphosate is water soluble, meaning it stays in water. So it gets into lakes and streams and groundwater, again, drinking water. That's why you don't want to drink any tap water that doesn't have a good filter, like a really good filter, like the ones that I linked to in the program. You need a good one. Getting out that will get out the glyphosate and the heavy metals, lead. Um, so glyphosate is a big problem. If your neighbors use it in their yards, tell them that white vinegar and a little squirt of Dawn dishwashing soap work just as well as Roundup weed killer in their yard to get rid of weeds, and they don't hurt the environment or you or them. People just sometimes aren't educated on it. So glyphosate will tear up the gut and keep it ill. So and it's a big part of the problem too. So we deal with that. Um, Glyphosate and then Lyme and mold really, really disrupt the gut also, and sometimes they're not known. So it's important to work with them again, just to make sure your home is mold free. That is really important too, because these things can keep the gut ill. Um, and then the parasites. Most doctors will give you a prescription, like some type of an antibiotic for parasites. And so many of these parasites are antibiotic resistant. I went through that personally for years. I love to travel. I've traveled around the world, and I had gotten some really bad parasites that took me years. I spent thousands trying to get rid of them and did everything I could. And I thought until I then came upon these exactly, they're the only thing that has worked for me. And I mean that for parasites. These organic proprietary herbal formulas that we use in my membership program are fantastic for working with parasites safely and naturally, and they work. They're effective. That's what matters. And there's only two formulas that you have to use, and you start with a drop a day of this liquid in a little water for the first week, and then over time you titrate it up. So it's super simple. But yeah, they really work. The organic the the herbal formulas are only available to active members of the membership program because you need my guidance with them. We prepare the body properly, but then the doctor who created them will not allow anybody to just use them. I'm one of the very few people in the world who she trusts in my program to guide you properly. So she allows my active members access to purchase them. So you're purchasing them from that site, but you've got my guidance in using them, and there's a whole piece on herbal ordering and usage. So guides. So all of the herbals. In fact, we have a monthly live members call, which we had our one yesterday, and for February, and that call, we actually the members had some questions on herbals, so it ended up being a really educational and beneficial call around the herbals. So that can be the calls can kind of be you can ask me your questions live. I like to connect like this. The forum is always there, and that's all you type in your answer, and I'll get back to you within 24 hours, or your question. I'll get back to you with an answer within 24 hours. But this is kind of nice, to do a chat like this and do it live. So sometimes, so once a month we have our live call to the members only call. And so in that, it's interesting how I noticed there's always seems to be kind of a theme, of questions of around something in particular. So we kind of run off of that. And yesterday was a lot around the herbal. So it's there for you. We record and put the replay link on the monthly call page in the member site. So everyone is archived, again, kind of like the forum questions and answers, so that you can go back anytime and listen to any call that from the past, so that you can learn from it, and they can be really, really beneficial for you. Anito, oh, you're very, very welcome. It's my pleasure. I'm happy to help you. Um, and do some parasites become dormant and return? Oh, fantastic question. Yes, they do. They actually do return. What happens, and I was just talking about this yesterday, is that the adult parasites that you're fighting off with a current protocol that you're doing get killed off over time. Takes a couple of months or so with the with it, from these drops. And there's a specific time period and way to do it that I show you and guide you easily. But in after that time period, I tell everyone, when you complete that, you mark 9 months away from on your calendar and repeat the protocol, because those adults laid eggs, and there's a 9-month gestation period. Think about it as the human gestation period for a baby, 9 months. It's the same with parasites. So in 9 months after you finish your first parasite protocol, I have you put it on your calendar in 9 months to do the protocol over again, because those eggs hatch and now you have new ones. So we just stay on top of it. And again, the parasite herbal for the herbal for the parasites is actually also, not only is it helping eradicate the parasites, but it's really, really good for other gut issues and bacterial and some pathogen issues. We also have these specific elixirs we use that are really, really helpful for certain pathogens, especially the candida that I love. So I'm very, very thorough, and again, that's why I created this for you, to give you everything in one place that is A to Z, all natural. I teach you how to do it step by step. It's that teach a man to fish, feed him for life. Teach a mom to fish, feed her for life. So you know what you're doing. You gain just an immense amount of education. It's done on your timeline, because I know people get afraid, like, oh my gosh, Karen, I'm already overwhelmed. Will I be able to do this? And yes, you can do this. You do it at your pace and one thing at a time. It's meant to be done slowly. This is one of those things where slow is good, because you need to give your child's body time to adjust to the supplements that they're already on or anything new you add. I always make sure you wait 2 to 3 days minimum in between adding in something else new or increasing a dosage of something that they're already on. So, it's important to know that so that you can watch for symptoms, and if you see those symptoms arise, then you slow down. So, this is again, it's done methodically, really one thing at a time in the sequential order, and we troubleshoot with you like I troubleshoot with you. Like again, if you're coming in and you know you have a PANS or Lyme flare, there is a PDF right at the bottom of the introduction page for this purpose that says adjunct to supplements if your child's already having extreme symptoms. Because some people, I mean, sometimes your child can be literally violent and it can be frightening. And, they can't go to school or school won't let them be there because they're too disruptive. And, it's a real issue, and I totally get that. So, again, every child's unique, and we understand that, and things are set out there for you as well. Angela, hey, Angela. Angela is one of my members. You have something wonderful to share, I am sure. Let's see. Angela, hello, everyone. I have been in Karen's program for 15 months now, and I can truly say this program is amazing. My son is 16 years old, partially verbal, and what is considered low functioning. I've tried many prescribed medications for him over the years, which have done nothing but made his symptoms worse. I decided to take the natural approach and join Karen's program. Since joining, my son has made great progress. One, his gut is healing because his bowels have turned into solids versus it ends there. Versus, of course, the opposite, not solid. Yeah, Angela has had. Thank you so much, Angela, for sharing. We were going to have Angela brought on today, but I didn't get an email reply from you in time. I didn't know you even had gotten my email for sure because I was going to have you come on and share. So thank you for doing this that way, Angela. It's really helpful because again, you help to inspire other parents, and it is helpful to know that you had tried all of these other things in the past, and your son is 16, and it's the time and the expense that kind of were lost in the past, and you want to find answers, and you got prescribed medications, which nothing made his symptoms worse. That's very common. And thankfully that you took the step, and you were willing to try the natural approach and try the membership program. And thank you for sharing, because I know other parents who are listening to this right now might be thinking, well, is this just one more thing? I keep hearing about all these, and I get it. I get it. And one of the ways for you to understand, I mean, I have, again, 30 years background in holistic health, 17 years of autism recovery expertise now, recovering my own son, but also helping hundreds of parents to bring their children to different levels of recovery worldwide. And when they share, I hope that you can understand that this is different. It is something that can actually help get you results naturally and safely, and the results that you've likely been looking for and searching for. So if you have found me here, you found this, I know it's not a coincidence. Your faith in continuing to keep moving forward has brought you here. And I was just named by the International Association of Top Professionals. I was just named as top autism specialist of the decade. And from them, it's a significant award to be given. There are people in that program. It's not a program, and you don't ask to be a member. You can't ask to be a member. You have to be invited in. And I was invited by them. They contacted me about it. And they have astronauts in there. I mean, people of every angle that you can think of in life that are high achievers. And they honored me with this award and asked me to be part of their association. So, that isn't taken lightly. I mean, that with again, I know that my personal experience is hopefully as beneficial to you knowing that I've walked the walk. I'm not just saying, "Oh, that must be hard," or, "Well, let's see what we can do." I'm like, "Let's get this done." Your child's future is at stake and you want to make sure you can do the best that you can for them. And I'm here to offer you the solution. Now it's up to you to take the time, take the risk, I know, and join the membership program and then implement it. It is up to you, but yes, you can do this on your timeline and it's worth it. It will save you thousands of dollars in the long run by knowing thank you for the award, thank you. It'll save you the time and literally thousands of dollars in the long run on wasted supplements that don't work or make your child worse or on doctors and prescriptive medications that didn't work for you or made it worse. And this is what I want to offer you. So again, I built this for you and I hope that you accept the invitation right now before enrollment closes. It won't be open for very much longer, and because I've come in all in for new members and take my time and focus there. So please, please, or to the members, all members, always. So go to naturallyrecoveringautism.com/membership and the registration link is right there. You can click the plan that works best for you and join the membership. You can read all the things that it offers you, hear from other people that are members about what results they've had. Again, thank you, Angela, for sharing. I appreciate you coming on today and doing that. Yes, no, the elixirs are shipped worldwide. Um, uh, so, yeah, I've done my best to make this as affordable as possible. And if you listen at the top of the membership page here, the membership link that's right here with this video, when you go to that page where you'd register for the program, at the top of it, listen to what Nanti has to say because she talks about how she was paying $45 twice a week, so $90 a week for her son to be in speech therapy. Now, if your brain is inflamed too, you're not going to get as much out of this, right? That was kind of my case with my son, spending a lot of money on things that weren't working. So she's spending $360 a month just on speech therapy alone. So imagine how it can save you the money in the long run because you get your child to the point where they're actually able to think more clearly and sleep better and have better focus and concentration and have improved speech and connection with others and how that will really work for changing their life for the better, and how it can save you so much in the long run. And that's really, I think, what I want to get you to understand too is really looking into the future. If you don't join the membership, what will change? And has it been working for you? Is there something that you're doing right now that maybe is an expense that isn't working for you that you could cut out so that you're not putting your resources into the wrong place. So that's where I'm hoping for you. This is the right place, and that it's definitely worth your while. So Nanti shares some good insight around that in that video at the top of the page, which again is at naturallyrecoveringautism.com/membership. So that is that is everything. And I don't just throw out one-off supplements to you because I take responsibility with it. And they are things that you need to know how to use and when to use them. Because if I just throw out some, here's this supplement and here's this supplement, and you put it in, your child goes into this big die-off reaction at home, and you have no idea why or how to prepare their body for it or wasn't prepared for it or what to do when you have die off, and the symptoms are worse, then you're just at home with a child who has worsened behaviors. And that's not really helpful for you. So I'm here to help you in the right way and make sure that we are, keeping you on that nice streamlined path in a sequential order, A to Z, with the support that you need, and you have my guidance. And I am here to help you. I built this for you, and please, I invite you right now to join the membership. And while enrollment is still open, and please share this with any friends you know of. This video will now be on YouTube and my Facebook page. The recording will be put up here, so you can send people to this to hear this. And if you know others with children with autism who are needing help, I appreciate you sharing this with them, because my mission is to help every parent of a child with autism to at least know my program exists. So if they want it, they can choose to enroll, because enrollment is open right now for a very limited time. And I want to help as many parents of children with autism as is possible for me to do, because I know what it's like to live that life, and I know what it's like to need support. And again, I that's why I created this, to share it with other parents just like you and anybody you know who is in need. Again, share my Facebook page. It's Naturally Recovering Autism is the Facebook page, and it'll also be put on YouTube, and they can now hear the replay. But again, enrollment's just open for a short time longer, so please share soon. And again, you can send to other people also, and for yourself to go to naturallyrecoveringautism.com/membership to learn all about it as well. And that is where you will also find the link to join. So thank you so much for taking your time to be here today and being a proactive parent and doing what you're doing for your child. You are a great parent, a fabulous parent for what you're doing. Taking the time to even become educated is so important, to know what you can do to get their absolute best results for their happiest, healthiest, and most fulfilling life. And that's what we want for every child, because everyone deserves that same chance. So, again, thank you so much for your time. And I really look forward to seeing you on the inside of the program. See you soon. Take care.